All right, we back with episode 12 of Sensational Talk, and I'm here with a special guest today. All my guests are special, but
Yeah.
this gentleman more than others a little bit because we had a little, a little back and forth, and now we're here
Yeah.
today as men, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I want to introduce my guy, Benny Ray.
Yeah, man. Thankful to be here for this opportunity to come and chop it up with you, man. And I guess try to, I ain't gonna say convince people, cause people gonna think what they want to think. But for the ones that got an open mind, you know what I'm saying, that'll sit down and hear me out, and probably come away from this with a different perspective of who I am and what I stand for. So yeah, man. What you got for me?
Yeah, because I gotta admit, you know, the way we came across each other was that video. I
the
believe it
the
was
infamous shoe
the
video,
shoe
man.
video where
Yeah.
the
The
he took off his shoes
mm-hmm.
and he was walking. Was it barefoot? He had on socks. Well, he was walking without his shoes,
some socks or something
and
like
she
that.
had on shoes. And we had a. I may have been a tad misinformed. I could admit that. I could admit that I probably didn't watch the full video
Yeah.
through and was just like in content mode. Let me make
Yeah.
content. So, for that, I can apologize for that because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
for sure.
sometimes, and then you made a video, and then I'm like,
But we chopped it up on the that's one thing I do appreciate because when you pulled up to the live, man, and when
well,
we
shit,
was,
I saw my face in the background.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah.
wait a minute, what's going on?
yeah,
man?
but a lot of people still won't do that. And then when you did pull up, it wasn't on no like what woot the woot type rah rah shit. It was like what's going on. Let's chop it up. Even though that's what everybody wanted. You know what I'm saying? They wanted you to come in, they wanted the drama, they wanted the mess.
Because it sells, man.
Yeah.
It definitely would have made for good content for people, and
Oh, yeah.
people just like seeing more than just seeing men go back and forth. They like seeing black men go at each other for some
They
reason.
definitely love that. They definitely love that. And when that didn't happen, I said we was able to chop it up and come to common ground, and then that's how I ended up here because you did shoot me an invitation to your podcast and to chop it up. So a lot of folks don't do that.
People love seeing violence take place.
Oh yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
I don't understand why that is. Maybe they
I do. And you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I say it all the time, man, because a lot of people don't. Social media is their only outlet to, anything, whether anything interesting to their life. A lot of people just go to work, come home. They ain't got nothing going on. They don't. So when they do get on social media, that's where they get their entertainment. That's where they get their thrill in life is seeing, black men go back and forth or, me, whether I'm getting into it with, Scarface Mark or
it's a great escape, man.
yeah, like and then like in the situations that I do find myself in, honestly, I don't be coming for nobody. I just speak my mind, and it turns into these beefs, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Like people, the hyenas come out and they just stir up mess and stir up drama, and they'll stitch and they'll comment, and you just gotta.
You be in a lot of.
I really don't be
I don't.
trying, man.
I don't. Like most of the time, I'm seeing you responding to comments or somebody's comment. I've never had issues with anybody on TikTok. The only little thing I had was that little back and forth between you and I. And some people on TikTok, they are in it all the time. There's a dude, man, he's always in. I think his name was John Cannon.
Yeah, John is always into
He lives out.
somebody.
He lives out here.
He in Jacksonville. Yeah, John, my mutual man.
Sometimes, me and him, it wasn't nothing crazy. Him and I, no different from you and I. I mean, I don't take it serious. I don't have nothing against him. I know we all just out here making content. Ain't nobody really trying to fight.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just makes good for TV.
Yeah, man. That's what TikTok is now. It's TV for people. I mean, like, yeah, my wife's one of them people. She don't really watch. She'll just sit on and scroll and catch the drama.
YouTube is my TV.
Yeah. I be on YouTube. I don't really be on Instagram like that. That's for the
Instagram is different. I would say that. I feel like I was having a conversation. I'm like, TikTok is cool. Instagram is like where everybody is, like
Yeah.
where all the big shots are, I guess. And then you have YouTube, and then you have Facebook. And I realized that my audience on Instagram is not the same
Oh yeah,
audience on
completely
TikTok. Like
different.
like maybe like 2,000 people came over, 3,000 from TikTok. But when it went,
Yeah.
like it was a whole, because Instagram, I think people on Instagram are more mean
Oh yeah, for
than
sure.
people. They're ruthless on
For sure.
Instagram. On TikTok, you may get more. But Instagram,
Because TikTok
there's
can
no.
pack you up. They'll get you out the paint for a comment. You can't say anything on TikTok and they'll
Mm-hmm.
flag it for, you know. So that's why I had to get better at not responding to comments. Cause I'm petty, man.
I could tell. I could tell.
I like to prove people wrong, man. Cause I like, and that's kind of one of my biggest things with that. One of the other infamous back and forths I had was with public defender, that guy. And
I've seen him before.
we had it, so, and it was at the same time as when I was going back and forth with Drew Afwalo.
I saw that.
So, and that was at the same time, and it was, that was, I ain't gonna lie, it got bad because I was getting to the point where I was just about to, fuck, I don't need this shit. I'm out. Like, I'm not. It was messing with my mental. It was,
It got
yeah.
to you.
In
That's
a
shocking
sense,
to hear.
in a sense of, because like I care about, like, I care a lot about my image. I care a lot about the things that I do. So I don't talk about a lot of things I don't know, or I stay in my bubble. I stay in my box of the things that I know about. And even if I might not know about it, I'm gonna try to do the best I can to research, get the most information before I just say something. But I care about the things I say. So when people, like in my personal life, that's how I operate.
Mhm.
Right or wrong, that's just how I am. And so when you getting, and when I was, and during that time, it was rough because,
With him or with Drew?
well, specifically Drew. Public is different. It is what it is with him. I know what type he is. It wasn't him. It was her. Well, her following. And the part that was frustrating about me and her back and forth was, it was like I knew what she was, because she was like, "Oh, you're not worth my time to stitch or comment or bring you on my platform or whatever." But like, she was in my comments for like 3 days. So I'm like, if I'm not worth your time, why are you here?
She don't ever be in nobody comments.
Exactly. And I wasn't the only one that made videos about her, like a stitch about her, calling her out about this male, whatever you want to help, male centered hated content, whatever it is. And I'm like, why don't you put out, content, like, because clearly you're like, I think she married now, or she was engaged. She's
She's
engaged.
engaged or married, one of those. I'm not
And
sure.
I'm like, you are clearly in a happy relationship. You found a man, you know what I'm saying, the love of your life. Why not put out content or advice towards women to help them get, what did you do, or like what can they do to find a quality man that they, if they're looking for marriage and relationships, like, why not throw that out there? Why is everything, hate men, you don't need men, decenter men? And it's like, but it comes off as hypocritical because that's not the life you're living.
It makes sense to me from the outside looking in as well.
That's like, everybody know I'm always, marriage, get married, family planning, and then that's like me getting on and I'm telling, young men out there, marriage ain't, it's nothing. But it's like, no, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's a good thing, it's beautiful, it works. Like, that's how you get ahead. And then I'm gonna tell you how you can fix yourself as a man so you can know what to look for in a woman. You know what I'm saying? So you can experience this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just told me off camera about you and your old lady, and it's like that. Like, that's how we're all regular folks, man. Like, that's how we get ahead. That's how we build. And
What
so
started that?
what's that?
What started that? Was it, did you stitch one of her videos and that?
Yeah, it was when she came out with that Kendrick Lamar video. And she was, when she was lip syncing to when him and Drake was beefing, and You know, the one that's like, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? She was like her towards men, and I stitched that, and that's when I said what I said. But I wasn't the only person that made videos about her. So when she came at me, I'm like, what made you come and attack me? And personally, some will say this is a reach or whatever, but I felt that it was because I was black, and she knew what was gonna come with that. Because what ended up happening, she opened the door because I don't really go off into, you know, the pale side of TikTok. I stay over here with us, you know, and that's where my focus is at. That's who I talk to, you know, our people and shit like that. So I don't go back and forth with them because I mean, we know how, like, you know how it can get messy, you know what I'm saying? I don't have the patience to get, you know, racial slurs through my way and, you know, microaggression videos. I don't like that. And so it was like the white girls were getting, you know, and the non-black women ended up coming and finding my page through her. That was like the first time they were exposed to me. And it was like, oh, you're a misogynist and you this, and then the microaggressive comments start coming. Then it started getting full blown racist. And shout out to one of my mutuals, Senetta. She's been following me for a while. She was one of the ones that was calling it out and even tagging Drew like, this is what you gonna let go on. Like, you're just gonna let your followers, you know, your little minions come in and like be microaggressive and straight up racist towards a black man for his opinion. And she was like, I have no control over my followers, which in a sense you don't, but you can still, like, for me, like, you can still like check that shit,
True.
you know, like, because even when people have come in like my comments, whenever, you know, they're trying to defend me, I'm like, nah, bro, like, that's not what time it is. Like, that's not true. Like, don't do that. Whether they listen or not, I can still put that out there so people at least know where I stood with whoever they was talking about. Like I said, I've been into it with, you know, a couple people.
Yeah, I don't. How do you feel knowing the kind of content you put out? How do you feel like now, today, that you're received online? You feel like it's people dislike you more or people like you?
It depend. It depend who I'm stitching or who I'm talking about. And if that's their favorite person. The most recent one that everybody was like, oh, they beefing was the Deontay Kyle. And it wasn't no beef and it wasn't no issue straight up with him. I had made a video talking about that was when, you know, the conversation like bringing segregation back and stuff happened. And I made, you know, a video or two talking about
Was
how
that
that
even real?
um
I saw some videos where people saying that was just some made up shit
they was throwing it
and it
out.
just spread.
It was due to the policy from like federal jobs and stuff like that. It was a federal some bullshit. You know, it wasn't like actual, but it was the conversations that, you know, black people were having that were, in my opinion, dangerous to be throwing out there. Cause I'm like, do y'all not understand the in totality what segregation? It wasn't just, oh, we get to eat at restaurants by ourselves and you know, have our cookouts. Like, it was an entire system of oppression, you know, and for y'all to play around and joke about something like that for me
Mhm.
was, you know, wild to see. And so when I spoke on it, and threw it out there, it I'll say it wasn't received by some people, a large crowd of people very well, which was crazy because I'm like, what? And so people were like, what made me bring up was it Justin Cat and Deontay was not, and even in my stitch, I said I'm not comparing myself to them. I'm not bringing up like saying like, oh, my content, their content. I'm bringing their names up to present like, I guess, evidence that y'all pick and choose. You know, when it's your favorites or it's somebody that y'all like, I'm all ears. But then when I say some of the same exact things, it's like, oh, shut up. You know, like, who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? Or like, you need to what are you doing to help the community? All you do is talk on TikTok. Like, what are you doing? Like, you need to get up and do something. And I'm like, we're all talking on TikTok. That's number one. So that was my point of bringing them up, because I'm like, they're talking, giving their opinions on TikTok, just like I am. I'm not gonna get on here and tell y'all everything I do, but I'm pretty active in what I do personally.
Sometimes, like, just giving your opinion, not even really speaking on it,
Yeah.
can cause the kind of chaos that's not even needed. For example, I just asked a question.
Yeah.
That lady that she called the little 5-year-old the racist slur.
Yes.
She got the GoFundMe.
Yes.
So all I did was I posted a picture. I say, do you guys feel like this is justified? She should, because I think when I saw it, she was at like almost 800,000 out of 1 million.
Yeah.
All I asked, do you think she deserves it? I got plenty comments. Oh, where was this energy? Why you ain't talking about what's the kid, Carmelo Anthony? And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do a comparison. This
Right.
isn't why is it? I'm asking a question. I could ask that also.
Right.
Me personally, I don't. Sometimes my opinion I just keep to myself, because it's just going to do more harm than good. And all it is an opinion, just like you and the Drew thing. You voicing your opinion. It wasn't for this whole army to come attack you.
They did. It was an army.
That's
And
almost
thing,
like the equivalent to like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, man, on the
Barb's.
Beehive, man. It was. I was like, wow, that was my first time, man. And like I said, I stay on black people's side of TikTok, so that was, man. Hey, I can I can take black women coming at me all day. Like I grew up, I know how to deal with black women. It is what it is. But when they start coming at me, I was like, oh Lord, and it was racial undertones. I said, oh man, that was.
That's the. Yeah, people in the comments was
and
like,
then they gaslit me, and that was the worst part, and that's what really pissed me off. Is I'm like, y'all are really gonna gaslight me like I'm just making this up. That is what I had to learn to get over, and just stop giving a fuck.
social media could take a lot on your mental.
Yeah.
Man. It could take a lot. Sometimes you really need to step back and take a break. Sometimes it's hard to take a break.
And after that, I did.
Talking.
I took like 2 weeks off, man. Me and my old lady, we went to Williamsburg. Colonial Williamsburg, had a good time, and
no videos for that.
Nah, I didn't record nothing, man, for almost a week and a half or something.
That should be making my skin itch when a day go by and I don't put out a video, at least one.
Yeah, it gets to that point, but like I said, I had to stop. I had to stop caring and realize that it ain't that serious. Like you can't change the thoughts and opinions of people who aren't looking for it to be changed. So from that, I said fuck it, and I just took it for what it is.
So you just mentioning caring, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing I noticed you do care about.
Yeah.
People in your comments try to make you out to be broke.
That
You always, I've seen a plethora of videos popping up about, I went and got this, or
because people be trying me, man.
But why do you feel like it's knowing, that you may be doing great in life? Is that not good enough to you, knowing that? Why you feel like you have to let it be known publicly and keep letting it be known?
Well, because one, motherfuckers be trying you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Why do you care?
But what I will say is the reason I do is because a lot of the times, and that's what a lot of my I pride myself in trying to be relatable and regular, because with social media comes the facade, the highlight reels of everybody's life. So I'm trying to show, the young cats and, the young folks that it's okay to be regular.
Define regular.
Just a career man or woman, a family man, regular. I mean, I don't know, like, because from what I always see, like the young cats, right? When they look at me, right, or somebody, that's in my peer circle. I got a lot of, career men in my circle of peers, and I see how well they do. I see how well myself is, even though there are times when I don't give myself enough credit. And that goes to why I do, have to flex on a hater in the comments real quick.
Before you even go further, if you could say, what do you do for a living?
Supply chain management. For tech, and I'm in tech, but I government contractor for a tech company, and I do supply chain management for it. So I get the benefits of being in tech without having to do all the geek stuff. And
Sounds like money.
yeah, I just keep track of what they talk about.
Sounds like money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sounds
It
like
ain't
money.
bad, man. It's and I get to get all the benefits of working from home and stuff like that.
What does something like that pay, or what could it pay on a
So
higher end?
supply chain management and that's what I like to expose people to, because when you talk about jobs, careers, people are like, oh, doctor, lawyer, that's it. That's all they think make money. And I'm like, bro, it's so many jobs and career paths and fields that you can get into, and supply chain is one that I do like to promote because it's so broad, and there is a entry point without education. Um, and it's a field that um, puts emphasis on time in the career. So versus like, so somebody coming out of college isn't gonna be as sought out after as someone who's been doing it for 10 years with no degree, because it's so fast paced, and it changes so much that they need you to know they need you to know how this shit goes. So all I got to do is come in and teach you how we operate, like our personal system, but the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So man, without a degree, you probably cap out at about 120, 130 with no degree. But if you want to get to those
It's not
upper,
bad. Still.
no, not at all. Because that's why I'm in school, so I can get past that ceiling. Because I used to be one of those guys, man, college doing it, and then I got into the career field, and I'm like, nah, college do matter. You need if you want to get unless you know somebody.
True.
Now, if you one of them people that got connections like your daddy did it, that's different. But if you're just a regular person, just you're gonna need that degree to break through, to get to like executives, higher chain supervisor positions, stuff like that. But to the point, like I like to show and talk about these things because a lot of kids, a lot of youth, even adults don't even know. They don't even know. And I like for them to see that you can have nice things. You can travel and do all these different things as a regular person with a career or what they 9 to 5. You don't have to own an LLC. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. Nothing wrong with it, but not everybody's meant to be one. Not everybody who tries to be one is even good at it.
Everybody's not going to strive for that as well. Like
Right.
people who they see doing stuff online, most of the time they're upset with these people, but they're not willing to put in that work
Oh
for
yeah.
that. Most people are. Let's face it, a lot of people are lazy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nobody wants to, but they want what you got and do the things you do, but they're not willing to put in the time.
Yeah.
And that's always the key, is the time.
And I'll have lives all the time where, that's the crazy thing. People think I'm just always in drama. Like my lives are usually 90% productive. Like I've had lives where we're talking about life insurance. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about when I had an entire live where I just brought people in and we just networked. People were talking about how can they change their resume to pivot to this job field or whatever. And that was like a 5 hour long live. And one of the Chad Chaddington, that's what I call him. Chadrian Montage, one of my mutuals. I'm sure a lot of people know who he is. And whenever he pull up, we know the live. I'm gonna be up all night because he had a live jumping. But we had a young cat, 19, Malachi, who I just reached out to and checked in last week, see how he was doing. Because when we were talking about like work, putting in the work, or learning, I say all the time, sometimes you gotta learn how to shut the fuck up. You'd be surprised the opportunities and possibilities and things that you'll get by just shutting up. but everybody got to voice their opinion. Everybody got to talk. Everybody got to get, I got to be real. And it's like, I got a lot in life by playing stupid, if that makes sense. And it was hard for me to learn because I wish I would have learned that lesson earlier in my military career. Because when I did get in, I tried to be like, oh, I'm a real nigga, I ain't gonna be this military, I'm gonna stay true to me, And it made my military career a lot more difficult than what it should be. So I was like, I ain't gonna, what they call it, playing the game. I was like, I ain't kissing no ass. I ain't playing the game. Nah, man, I'm real. And I missed out on a lot of opportunities, a lot of promotions, a lot of awards, a lot of things that could have boosted my career. Possibly made me stay in if I would have dropped my ego. And when I started getting into the civilian workforce is when I realized, like, yeah, man, it sometimes you get a lot further just shutting up. And so an example of that was the house that I'm in now. I didn't know nothing about. We built that from the ground up. I didn't know nothing about buying, building no house, buying no house, nothing like that. And this old white guy, my wife's job, overheard us talking on the phone about it. And he was like, man, if he's cool, I can sit down with y'all and you know explain that you can even negotiate with the builders, the VA loan, all these different things, right? And the old me would have been like, nah, man, I got it. I'm a man. I don't need no other man telling me what to do, how to feel. I figured out. And it's like,
It's all right to get help sometimes.
yeah, man. I put that ego to the side, and it's okay. It's okay to not know something. It's okay to not know something. So, we chopped it up with him, man, and he told us about negotiating with bills, all type of stuff, how to use the loan, how to, hell, we got a yard full of grass. Like we was able to negotiate getting sawed in the yard, all type of stuff. Because I sat down and I had a conversation. I put my ego to the side, my pride to the side, and I was able to learn something. And so when that young guy came into my live that one night, he came in hot. He came in real hot. He wasn't trying to hear, and he eventually settled down, and we was able to get through to him. And come to find out, he was in school for was it HVAC or either.
That's a good career too.
Yeah,
They definitely paying for HVAC.
And it was it was a conversation about the whole YNs and stuff like that, and he ended up when he did calm down, we started actually having a conversation with him. Man, he was able to link up with Chad, and because he know one of his good friends owns he teaches HVAC school, and was able to put him put him in a position to network and potentially have a career. You know what I'm saying? Just because he was able to calm down and put his ego to the side and hear what we were saying instead of being in his feelings. So yeah, man, sometimes people just gotta know how to just shut up, especially as men. Like, it's okay.
So earlier, right?
Yeah.
When you said one of the things you said was real estate, and I came across one of your videos, and you were saying something to the you were renting out your townhouse to somebody else,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
are you like heavy into real estate, or this is just something?
So that goes into my point about it's okay to be regular, right? Because when you get on social media, what do you see? Everybody's like, oh, you gotta, you have 5 or 10 rental properties, and you gotta create passive income. And it's like, do you know what goes into even owning one property? And so you get right, and so you get a bunch of people who hop out there thinking they're gonna be HGTV, and now they in a bunch of debt because they done tried to flip a house or something. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but it's like, I'm not into it because number one, it's just not something I'm interested in doing. That was our first like home purchase, and I want to keep it in my family for my kids so they can always have somewhere to live. So that's why we keep it. Would I like to get, something else? Probably, but it's not my desire to be some real estate guru and flip houses and stuff like that.
How important do you think financial literacy is for these? Well, every people in general, but for like you said, these YNs that like these these kids running around with no hope?
Um, I don't know. That's like a two-layered question because I got thoughts on both of those. But as far as financial literacy, especially with our community, um, I've said before that, and again, it ties to social media. You know, people are like financial literacy. You got to do this, and you got to get this. And I'm like, bro, for the average everyday person, like we like to skip steps and do things backwards with our people. And it's like, how about we learn the basics? Make the income first. Get into a career path or a job field or something that makes the income. Because you can't save if you don't make the money. And next, if money burns a hole in your pocket, no amount of investing, real estate, stock market, none of that matters. If you can't even save the change you make in your pocket. Like my grandparents didn't know anything about financial literacy. They didn't know. But my grandmother always told me, like, baby, save your money. Don't let your money burn a hole in your pocket. Like every time money touch your hand don't mean it got to go somewhere. I mean, that's the basics of financial literacy, in my opinion. So if you can't even save money, you don't have discipline, what's the point of even learning about the stock market or bonds or mutual funds or any of that if you don't even know the basics, which is discipline to save your money, and you can't save money if you don't make money. That's my thoughts about financial literacy. It's like we got to start with the basics first, man. And it's the same thing with like, you know, and this ain't nothing I have not said on either videos on my lives. The whole, what do we got to do to save the black community and all that? I'm like, we got to get our house in order first. Like you got a bunch of people in our community who believe marriage is just a piece of paper. Doesn't even you got men. Oh, it's no benefit in getting married, and the women. So we not even our homes aren't even in order. So how are we gonna build our community? You don't have community without the home.
So you being married, both of us being married gentlemen, right?
Yes,
What do you feel like? Because that is a thing. Most people say men don't. There is no benefits for men when
there's
we get
definitely a
married.
lot of benefits.
In your opinion, what do you feel like the benefits for us would be?
Um, well, when you get a good woman, I mean, shit, a lot, man. It's my health is one. She the one that's gonna tell me, hey, you need to chill out. You need to go to the doctor. You need to go
True.
to the hospital.
And I never listen.
Exactly. And then
I
until
never
she
listen.
make you, you know what I'm saying? And if she wasn't there, I wouldn't do. I'm good. She the one that make me go. Even financially. I don't have to be in the I'm not in the streets no more. I gotta buy a fresh fit to go out and hit the scene and buy drinks and get in the club. I gotta do that no more. I got my old lady at the house.
We could still do that with our old ladies, but
Yeah, but that's with your woman though. It's
yeah.
not with, you know, three different chicks a day or in the week or whatever. And I mean, because anytime I used to go on a date, man, I had to get a cut, I had to get a fit, I had to get the car clean, I had to do a lot of that. I cared about that type of shit. So, but I mean, financially, because when I did get out the military, like we talked about earlier, um, man, it was I got out in 2018. Man, it was 2 years when my wife held it down, man. I didn't have. I was just in a funk. I was depressed. I was getting fat. Like, and she held it down. She paid everything, and not one time did she make me feel less of a man during that time period at all. Um, because she knew she didn't know what was wrong, but she knew who I was. So it was like, yeah, you in a rut right now, but I know what you stand for. I know your principles and character. So I know you're gonna be all right. Like I know what type of man you are. So me having like this time period of having to pay the mortgage and we was, scraping and clipping coupons and shit like that, to get through it. But she knew, you know what I'm saying? So if that wasn't the case, where would I have been? You know what I'm saying?
In this day and age, you see the type of videos that are being put out on
Yeah.
social media where, they say if the man falls off,
Yeah.
he's gone, and all this 50-50 talk.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this whole 50-50 talk? Because there are some men that say you're not a man if
Yeah.
you let your woman contribute anything, but some women, some of these good women that we come across, it's not even about splitting bills or anything. It's like, I don't know. It's like a support system. To me, I've never said to my wife, "Hey, we got this X amount of bills. We're gonna split this down the middle.
Right.
You do what you do. I do what I do. There was no. It's not a
Right.
competition.
Exactly. Um, First of all, I think that all that shit is just something people come up with for the people they don't like. All these stipulations and rules and guidelines and social media talking points we have about relationship, all that go out the window. Whether you're a man or woman, when you run into the woman or the man you like, all that go out the window. Cause you see women that be with broke dudes. You'll see dudes that be out there. People throw out all them rules and stipulations when they run into to the person they like. But I think that people take it too literal when you say 50-50. It's really just
Yeah,
teamwork. And then when you are in a relationship, in a marriage, bro, like, it's gonna be times where it's 100-0, 80-20,
like how you started.
right, 20-80. Might be 50-50. It might, like, it's life. You never know what, like, money come and go. Money come and go. Situations change. But that's the point of marriage, to have that safety net, to have that base, to come back to, and pick me up when I'm down. I pick you up when you down. You know what I'm saying? Like, we rocking out this together. But I think they get lost with social media conversations because people too worried about making talking points instead of, like, putting people on to what this is, like what marriage means, what relationships and stuff like that mean. Everybody just looking for a sound clip. Everybody trying to go viral, trying to be, you know, uh, controversial when it comes to these relationships. If people would stop wasting their time arguing about who gonna pay a bill and just work together, your bills will get paid. They'll get paid.
So military, right?
Yeah.
What branch? In the
Marine
military?
Corps. Marine Corps, man. I said if I was gonna do it, I was just gonna do the hardest one. So I picked the hardest one. Plus my pops was, man, my pops was a Marine. My mom, my birth mother, she was a Marine. My uncle, my grandfather on my mother's side. So we just
What was the turning point in your life that made you say you had to do that? Aside from them already being in the
oh
Marines,
man,
was it just solely off of that?
nah, man, I had to get the fuck on. Anybody that's from Shreveport, Louisiana, Ratchet City, man. I think it's like number 8 as far as murder capital cities. Most of the cities on there are in Louisiana, which is crazy. But I just had to get out of there, man. I said I got a big family. It was like what 9 of us, and it wasn't. I didn't get no scholarships. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting none of that from ball or nothing like that. So I had to figure it out. I knew my pops wasn't gonna pay for no college, and I wasn't trying to have, be sitting around and turn into one of them local dudes. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, bro, I gotta go. And so I joined there at 17. I had my pop sign the paper. I had to get on out of there, man. I just had to go.
For the people who don't know, what are some of the benefits of joining the military while you're in the military, and then upon you
Um,
exiting?
so I guess why you in? I'll say this: it's really what you make it. Cause you got a lot of people that get in thinking like it's gonna change their life, but if you wasn't worth the damn before, you likely not gonna be worth the damn while you in. Just like a lot of people think when they're in, they gonna get out and it's gonna be rainbows and unicorns and the best thing ever when they get out.
That's what I've heard about it. Like when
Yeah,
you get out, they just take care of you for the rest of your life, and that's it.
nah, it depends. Like me, yeah, because I did what I was supposed to do. I handle my business. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. Especially in the Marine Corps, man. You got a lot of guys that get caught in that rah rah shit of, oh, you tough, you a Marine, you don't need to go to medical, you don't need to go to the hospital, and you don't need to go and do this, you strong. Yeah, so they don't, and a lot of people's commands be against it and stuff like that. They've from what I've heard, they've kind of changed that environment or that mentality a little bit, but you still got people who they just don't take care of business. So I mean, while you in, you wanna try to optimize your time in, whether that's networking. Some of you mentioned earlier, like family is what you make it. Like I outside, like I'm closer with the guys that I met from the Marine Corps. Like they're like my brothers more than like my blood brothers.
I can get that.
You know what I'm
I can
saying?
get that.
Like so like they show up, then they show out for me, man. And a lot of the things that I know now were from people that I met while I was in the military, because I was now higher ups. I had, I wasn't their favorite cup of tea, but like
You still in communication with the dudes
oh
in the
yeah,
Marines?
yeah, for sure. That's it. That's my whole circle for the most part. Um, hell, the one person that taught me about the basics of real estate, or using my VA loan to get a house, was my staff sergeant Garitano at the time, and yeah, we still chop it up to this day. About big tall bald cat, man, and he put me on with a lot of stuff, kept me out of trouble too. So yeah, it's about maximizing while you in. So while you are in, you can go to school. My wife got her she finished her bachelor's and she got her master's while she was in. You could use tuition assistance, and you take 2 classes at a time, and she racked up. She got a whole master's off of it. So
How'd you
it's
meet your wife?
on deployment. I don't
Yeah.
recommend that.
How did that go? You approach her, she approached you.
Yeah, actually, I approached her, man. The crazy thing is, so I got to start from the beginning, because it's really like the butterfly effect. Because I feel like if so, we was I was in 3-2, and I was supply, and for field. So when you're in the infantry battalion, the cooks are normally in the same warehouse as the supply, and we had some field mess cats that I was cool with, Pond, and they was like, so this was right before we was about to get ready, the weekend before deployment, and they was like, "Hey man, y'all trying to roll with us, man? We going up to Norfolk to kick it with some shotters and shit. Y'all trying to roll?" And me and my partner, we was like, the reason we didn't go was because of this one cat named Sanders. He was a little hot head from Dallas. Always wanted to fight, get his. And I'm like, bro, we ain't on that. Like every time we go out, he into some shit. So we was like, nah, man, we good. And but y'all be easy, man. Y'all let us know how it go. Me and my partner ended up going to Raleigh. And so fast forward deployment, I didn't do any of the workups. So before deployment, you normally, especially of MU, you do workups. Um, you do like a couple of to get you used to going on the ship, stuff like that. I never went on any of them because I was too important. Uh, and man, I was we had got like 11 attachments. We had got Marsoc, Recon, a couple kilo battery. We got a bunch of different like units attached to ours. They was just transferring over to a new entire GCSS, which was a supply system. I had to go fix their whole accounts. They had me. I mean, I never knew what it was like to search for a serial number on a tank. It was the worst day of my life. And then the guys that work on them every day didn't know where it was at. So I was like, okay. So, but I never went on any of the workups because I was doing all that. So when I, prior to work, when you doing workups, that's when everybody like leaned up. They find out who they want to talk to and shit like that. So when I pulled up, I was like fresh meat. I ain't know nobody. I'm just like here. So everybody like, who that light skinned nigga? So we went to so when we got on the boat, I seen her with her homegirl. I was like, who that is? They was like, oh, that's I saw the pond was talking to her best friend at the time. And so those her friend group were the group they end up going to hang out with in Norfolk the weekend that I was like, no. And so I ended up going to approach her when we went to what was it, Rota. We was in Spain, and I hollered at her, man, and it was a dude, one of my old Marines. His name was Kapoor. He's like a Middle Eastern guy, and
How old was you during this time?
I was
Oh,
like
this is still early
I was
in.
20. I was like 19 or 20. One of them. Yeah, yeah. And he was a Middle Eastern cat. He one of them dudes that's cool as hell. He'll do anything for me. He just like didn't have no social awareness. He'll just say shit. And he said he made some kind of comment about her mother when I pulled up at the exchange. But she was like, "No, my mom's dead." And I was like, "Oh my this." So I had to apologize for him and stuff like that. We ended up talking, and yeah, man, that's and I mess with her to this day because I'm like, she be like, well, I was like, man, you got lucky, right? Because that was at a point in my time where I was sticking the move. I was in the streets. I was out there. I was hot, man. Man. I was young. I had picked up E4. I was a corporal, man. You
She
couldn't
was in
tell
the
me
Navy
nothing.
then when you met her?
Yeah, she was in. She older than me. She 5 years older than me. And everybody was
Well, you
trying to
got you
holler.
a mature
Yeah,
woman.
yeah, man. I always been in the older women. So, um, they and they because she didn't believe me because she was like, well, you so nice. I'm like, yeah, but this is because I like you. I'm like, this is relationship, Benny. So you don't know in the streets, Benny. And I tried and she didn't believe
There's
me.
a difference.
Right. And she didn't believe me until my friend came. My best friend Trot came over because we had to fly to different ships, each other's ships, and send parts and stuff like that. And he ended up coming to my ship when I was in the bumfuck Africa during all that bullshit with Yemen and Syria. And he had talked to her, whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm shocked that my partner even talking to you." He was like, "Cause I don't." He was a dog, and she was like, "Nah, for real." Like, yeah, like he must really like you. And so I messed with. I'm like, if I would have came up that weekend, I was like, we probably wouldn't be talking, cause I was like, if I did try to holler at you, you know what I'm saying? You would have been like, now, because I see how you are. You a daughter. So we probably wouldn't have talked because I would have been like, well, fuck you then. Or, after I said that, I probably would have, bagged you and then probably just didn't talk to you again. Because I was just that bad. And she'd be like, whatever. I'm like,
So y'all together like what, like 12, 13 years now?
yeah, all together. This would be in November would be our 10-year anniversary of actually being married.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. 10
If
years.
my wife asked me that,
Oh nah,
I gotta go do some numbers. Like, wait, how many?
at 10 years married,
Don't
man.
make that mistake.
Together for 12. And we actually man, we renewing our vows in July back home because we never had a wedding. We just went to the courthouse and then went to Buffalo Wild Wings and balled out on some chicken, man.
Keep it
And
basic.
yeah, man. That military life is just fast. So um now I'm in a position, like we're in a position that where we can, you know, she can get the wedding she wanted and family and friends and stuff like that. So yeah, we
Where
celebrate
would
now.
you? Where would you? If y'all gonna do it, when you do it, where you gonna do it at?
Oh, it's back home and back in Shreveport, unfortunately. But you
Why
got
not where you at?
in Virginia, cause man,
Because of family.
her family is in Virginia, but her family's small. I'm the one with the big ass family, and they're so I just had it back home. Cause that way I don't really have to worry about nothing. The family do everything, take care of everything, and they ain't got to drive, and I ain't got to hear
Y'all got a
nobody.
date?
Yeah, July 19th.
Well,
July
that's right
19th.
around the corner.
Yeah. We pretty much got everything set, got everything ready.
What's the worst experience you had in the military, if any?
Let me see.
Couldn't have been all good, or maybe it could have been.
Honestly, man, I don't have military was good to me, man. I'm not saying it was perfect. Um, but I didn't have I guess like a horror story. I mean, I did what I was supposed to do. I kept my head down for the most part. I mean, I had my situations where I might have had, some back and forth, but like I stayed out of trouble, kept my head down, and just did what I was supposed to do, man. Towards the end is when I guess start having issues, because they was trying to get me for like malingering. It was a gunny. I can't remember his damn. I know what his face looked like. Um, but they was trying to get me on some dumb shit, and I was just like, I was in zone for staff sergeant and everything, but I was like, nah, it's time for me to go. I gotta do sided, but I didn't have no. I really didn't. I had a pretty good career, man. And it's probably from my my MOS because I was supply. My first and my first duty station was an infantry battalion, so I was able to get the suck shit out the way first. And then my second one was pretty good, where I was able to go. I was in security forces, and we had units overseas and stuff, so I was able to travel to like Japan, Bahrain. Where else we had? We had
I
one
don't
in
know if I'll
Rhoda.
ever go to any of these places, man. I just don't like flying, man. But
Man.
I see you. You was just in Honolulu.
Yeah, for work, man.
I'd love to go there one day if I get the courage to fly. But
Man, this
how many hours is that? Because you flying from East Coast, right?
it's like a 9-hour flight.
So you can't do that.
Yeah,
I need some Xanax or something. I can't.
hey man, you get on there and watch two good.
That's a straight flight, or you got to connect with that?
Mine was connected. I flew out of Denver, so from Virginia to Denver, and from Denver to Hawaii. Ain't that bad.
I don't know. Maybe one day. I don't know.
Watch if you watch some long movie. I had watched Dune, like the Dune series. So by the time that was done, I had like an hour left.
I thought you were talking about Doom that Dwayne Johnson
Oh
played.
no.
That was a Doom. He played Doom.
Saying Dune.
Oh,
part 1 and 2.
Dune.
Yeah.
Oh, those are long.
Timothy Chalamet in it. Yeah.
I didn't see any of it. I started to watch the first one, but then I don't know.
Say you watched that. They like 3 hours long, man.
Yeah.
You watch that. By the time it's done, the plane ride over.
So you're done with the military. You got the family life. You got 5 kids. What motivates you now?
The family, man. The family. And that's why I do say that marriage benefits men, because he'll be all right. My partner, one of my best friends, man.
He'll be all right.
He we've had conversations before about that. Because he out there in Atlanta doing his thing on the police force. And
single?
Now, yeah, because him and his baby mother, it ain't work out. And he tried, man. He wanted it, man. He wanted the family. And it just they better off being, co-parenting than being in a relationship. And we had conversation about like his purpose. And he's like, man, I'm making all this money. I got this big old house. And it's like, for what? Because I gotta kiss my daughter and drive her back, to her mom. And he was like, I want, I don't have, like, I got this house. I did all this to have my family here. And it's not like that. It didn't work out. And he was like, he was lost. And we had that tough conversation. I was like, bro, you got to find your purpose, man.
Was it him or her?
As far as like why it ain't work?
Yeah.
It was her.
It was her?
Definitely her.
As a man, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like, for you personally, that accountability is a hard thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even with me and my wife, it was real hard. Like
men don't want to be men never want to hold themselves
right.
accountable.
As much as we hear on the internet of women, like, man, you ever ran to an unaccountable dude? It's worse than a woman. And there are a lot of times where I like you go back to, you got to put your ego to the side. And a lot of guys think, like, you hear it all the time on TikTok, oh man, I need a submissive woman. I need a woman that submit to me. And it's like, as a man, bro, when you get in a marriage and a relationship, you have to submit to your woman, in a sense. Like, there are times where I have to submit to my wife. It's like I'm not, and as an effective leader, head of a household, it's not always I'm right, you're wrong. I'm the man, do what I say. Like, plenty of times where I take the back seat because my wife knows more about something, or she knows better than me, and she's right. And I got to swallow my pride. I got to put my ego to the side, and I got to follow her sometimes.
So you 100% good with submitting to your wife?
Yeah, now. It's growth. You like it. I had a hard time.
It's a growing process. Yeah.
I had a hard time of like apologizing. I was because I guess you could say, like, what people say, like, childhood trauma. I didn't grow up in a household where my parents apologized to me. It was, I'm right because I'm the mom, I'm the dad, do what I say, shut up. And their way of apologizing was, you want some McDonald's?
Yeah.
you want to go out?
You hungry?
Right. That was their way of apologizing. So I had to number one, acknowledge that with my wife, and number two, try. Like it's not. And she had to like because I think a lot of times people think I'm along the lines of people don't really change. Like you have your base, you have your foundation. That's who you are. Can you accommodate or like um consider others and things like that, or put your best foot forward to you know try? Yes, but I still, in my opinion, I believe that people are still foundationally who they are. And when you get comfortable or you're uncomfortable or you're in a stressful situation, you revert to who you are, like who you are. Um, so I find it easier to accept who people are and understand that as long as you're trying and you're putting forth effort, I can respect that and I can accept that. And so with my relationship and in our marriage, like she knows how I grew up, and as long as I'm trying and I do like I'm not perfect. So when we do have those situations, and she'll call me out like, why you say like you talking to me crazy right now? And like earlier, I'd be like, I don't give, you just, got my gaslight or something,
Normal couple shit.
right. But now I'm like, I just shut up. I get quiet and I shut up. I chill, and I come back and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what I'm
The
saying?
easiest thing to say and the hardest thing to do at the
It's
same
so
time.
rough, man. It's even last this weekend when I pulled up here on Friday.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
The hotel, man. The acting like they could, cause I didn't put my I booked it under her account. I didn't add my name on. I'm like, man, this is my wife. Like I was like, we got the same names. I had a call, and I was like, well, just call up there and tell her a story. Like you on the way, you just late or something. And she was like, well, what you want me to tell her? I'm already frustrated. It's like 9:30. I'm like. So like, man, I just figured out bye. And I just hung up. So she texted me, you really gonna hang up in my motherfucking face like that? I had to take a breath, had to call. I'm sorry. I ain't mean to do that. I was frustrated.
That shit don't be worth it sometimes, man.
It don't.
That sorry saves you a lot of
It
headache
do. It
later.
do. It really does.
I
And
still ain't mastered that. So I'm not here
look,
trying to tell you what to do. I'm
look,
still
bro. We 12, 13 years strong, and it ain't happened overnight, bro. I tell you that it did not even and even with my kids, um, learning to apologize to my children was probably one that was harder than my wife. That was harder than dealing it with my wife, bro. Like learning how to apologize and admit I'm wrong to my kids, and letting them hear me say that. That was tough. That was tough. And it was that and being um openly affectionate with like my boys and even my wife, cause I'm not really like again, I guess childhood how I grew up. Like my birth mother, I mentioned that earlier. My birth mother, um, she so I did grow up with her up until 10. My fifth grade graduation, we came back. She just dipped. But she had later on we found out she had schizophrenia and a couple other mental issues. But this is the 90s, we ain't know nothing about mental health, so everybody just thought she was just tripping. She was just crazy.
yeah,
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
it.
Like she need to go to church or something.
Now,
So
now we identify things. Back then it was
yes.
just he's crazy.
And thinking back on the stories and like some of the things that happened when we was kids, I'm like, yeah, she definitely was losing her mind and stuff. So, but she was an affectionate mother. And then when she left, I moved in with my pops and my stepmother. She's not she one of them rough, tough women. Just rough, tough. Not you ain't getting no hugs. You ain't getting no I love you. None of that. It's just rough. And it has some positives, but so it was just rough. Tough love shit or whatever. And so I guess my only outlet for like affection was my granny, my grandmother. So she kind of turned into my mother in that regards. I was very close with my grandparents. Closer to my grandparents than my actual parents. Because even my daddy, he was like one of those old school men, just go to work, come home. Like, he wasn't bad, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't a bad father by any means, just a typical provider man from the Gen X boomer type. He ain't gonna chop it up with you and get emotional, hug you and all that stuff. It was just like, you good? Yeah. All right.
I think I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Now, even with my kids, do you feel like it's easy for you to show your kids that affection because it was like that?
No. Now with my daughter, it's like natural with my daughter, which is, I guess, normal for a man.
She's the princess.
Right.
She's a little
And
girl.
she my only girl. 4 boys, 1 daughter. So it comes more natural to her than my boys, and it wasn't easy, and it's not easy. But I try, and I definitely put forth effort to do so.
You find it easier to hug your boys?
No. No.
So I'm not alone here.
No, not at all.
And
Um,
I don't think it's well, for me personally, I don't. It's definitely not for a lack of loving them. It's just I don't know. It's stupid. It's like I feel like if I do that, something in me is like, nah, that's soft. You can't be
yeah,
doing that. And it's dumb to think like that,
it
but
is.
because it's still your children, it should have the same. But I've never been able to. I've never been good about that.
Yeah,
I can admit that as a man. I have shown my son more affection?
yeah,
Yes. Should I have? Yes, but I don't know. Maybe it was something that I was missing from, my
yeah,
upbringing that brought that on, and I'm just what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Basically, giving him that energy.
yeah.
Um,
How old he is now?
18.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, shit, cause I had a hard talk with my pops not too long ago when my last son was born, and I don't know. I say I said now that I'm an adult, so and this will kind of pivot into why uh I talk about, like, I guess, the YN culture, the young, like, I think people give too much grace to these young cats or young people, especially these young black boys, like they don't know what they're doing. Like, I guess in totality, I guess bigger picture they might not, but they're making a conscious choice to do these things, to be what they're, in the streets and stuff. And the reason why I talk so hard against it is because, excuse me, oftentimes we'll give the attention to those kids, the ones that want to be degenerates, the ones that run out and cause the ruckus and the hoopla, and they jacking in cars and being, menaces to the streets and the community. Like, so we want to divert most of our attention and resources and things to those kids, and the good kids get ignored, because, or the ones that are trying get ignored because they're like, oh, they're good. They're not. So they'll figure it out because they do good in school, or they don't want to run. So they'll be good. And those kids get ignored because they figure it out. But they need attention too. They need resources too. They might not need the crutch that you give those degenerate kids, the ones that want to be out there causing ruckus, but they still need support. They need you to show up for them. Not in the same way you show up for those, the kids that don't want to do right, but they need some affirmation when they get those good grades. Like, oh, good job. I see you. They need, some affirmation when just because they don't play a sport. They might be in the band. They play an instrument. They need you to show up for them the same way you show up to the one that don't act right, but he play ball. They still need that too. And what happens is when the good kids get ignored and they figure it out and they go on to do things and be whatever they're gonna be, now you want to try to take credit for the things that they do, or you ignore them because it's like, oh, they don't need my help. And I say that to say that's kind of what happened with me and my parents was I was the kid that figured it out. Now, in spite of, but I still did. And you made like I had to figure it out in high school. I had to like it was always figure it out. Meanwhile, my siblings that wasn't trying to do shit, the ones that, you know, in and out of jail, and even though we grew up in the same house, like they was getting, cars in high school. They was getting, the help. Meanwhile, I had to figure it out.
Let me ask you this. You think these YNs or these degenerate kids, you think they're in this position in life or choose to be this way because of a lack of parenting? If so, what makes us different? Why are we not like that and they like that?
Because we made a choice, man. And oftentimes when we talk about these, that is crazy. Because when we talk like we see these young girls, the young black girls who grow up in these same environments, these same predicaments, they go on to be successful. Why is it that our young boys choose this route? It's because it's a choice. That's what we glorify. That's what they view as black masculinity. That's what they view as success. And when we tell the story of the hood or the boys who become statistics, we talk about it like we didn't grow up next to them. Like they the when and I've had lives where these guys come up and they, man, I didn't, my mama, my daddy wasn't there, and I'm like, a lot of us had missing, like we grew up in these same environments right next to you. We went to the same schools, we played on the same football teams, we went to the same church. We was all right there, we was all together. But when y'all tell these stories, y'all act as if we weren't right there with you. When you talk about not getting help in class, you talk about it like we weren't next to you and we saw you disrupt the class. We saw you be a class clown. Meanwhile, we was over here like, man, I'm gonna do this homework. I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might go to tutoring, and you was over there causing the scene, disrupting our learning because you couldn't read without your finger in the book. And instead of saying I don't know how to read, you just gonna cause a scene. So now you gotta go to ISS. And we don't want to admit that these young men or young boys are making these choices. Like, we can make it out, but you can't. We had to face the same system, the same demand, the same CIA, and we was right there with y'all. Why is it that I turned out and you didn't? But no, like you said earlier, accountability. There's a lot of men who don't want to be accountable, and that's just what it is. They accountability is it's easy. It's easy to be a degenerate. Like I said, it's even in my own household when I grew up. My brother, he didn't want to do. He didn't want to do, so he chose the easy route, which was be a degenerate. It's easy to be in the streets.
Some people they they don't have a family to fit into, and I think it's easier to fit into the people where it don't take much to do.
Yeah,
like you said, it don't take much to be a degenerate because all you got to do is hood shit.
Yeah, you ain't got to get up and go to work. You ain't got to, you don't have to be a productive member of society. You could sit at the gas at the Quick Trip all day, terrorize folks and kick it with your homies all day, and just chill at the corner, slang a little bit, do it. You ain't got to do nothing.
It's like, what's the incentive to be a YN? What?
None.
And yet they still do it.
But they and that's why I do what I do, because there are young folks out there who need this. Because we say all the time, why? Well, I didn't see it growing up, and I'm like, but you might not have had it. Number one, y'all are growing up in the age of you have a supercomputer in your hand. You can look up every statistic about your favorite basketball player, football team, but you can't look up a career field, what it take to be a pharmacist. You go be an illegal pharmacist, but you won't go be a legal pharmacist. Why not? You ain't gonna end up in the dirt or in jail if you go be an actual pharmacist, but you're gonna have to put some work in. You're gonna have to go to school. You're gonna have to have some discipline. I said I show my best friend. My best friend is a pharmacist. Him and his wife are both in pharmaceuticals. They live a great life. She did a gender reveal in Switzerland.
Yeah, I saw you had posted it.
Like they lived
Too many hours on the plane for me, bro.
man. We're gonna have to get you on the plane. Maybe you had to take one of them sleep pills or something, man.
But like what I was gonna say, these these kids.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because of a lack of options. I think they have the same options and opportunities that we have. It's just like I said, I'm not sure because my mother was on my ass. Yeah, my father still deported in Belize right now, but my mother was on top of me. So are these kids not going home to somebody? I can't imagine that these kids have parents or active parents and then wake up in the morning and are allowed to run the street, are allowed to carry weapons. I don't even want to start nothing with these young kids, man.
Nah, man.
They will blow your head off.
Yeah, I'm in the house. A lot of them come from households where people are, but it go back to what they glorify on social media. And that's what I mean by it's okay to be regular, because they think it's boom or bust. I gotta be Casa. It's either I gotta be Casa that, or I'm just gonna do nothing.
It's still a grind to be casting that.
But they don't think about it like that. I gotta be, even like they might look at you. I gotta have 8-point-something million followers, and I gotta be, and it's like, it's not probable to happen for the average person. But what our community oftentimes looks at possibility a lot versus probability. Is it possible you could be casting that? It's possible. Yeah. What's the fucking likelihood of it? Slim to none. But they'll chase the pipe dream because they want what comes with it. And instead of looking at what's more probable as a possibility, and that's why I do talk about money a lot, because they think, they'll say six figure, like they'll say $100,000. That's not a lot. You can't do nothing with. That's not a lot of money. And I'm like, do you even make that? No. Yeah, no, because damn near only 15 or 10% of the population even make that, and it's even smaller if we talk about black people. So now let's move up. Like it's a lot of numbers between 100,000 and a millionaire. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers in between that, and to a lot of them, if you don't have the million, you're poor, or you broke, or you ain't doing good. And it's like, I'm sure my partner is well off into, whenever he put his head down and he worked overtime and stuff now, but he don't really know more because he paid off all his student debt. Him and his wife together easily in the 3, 4, probably 500,000, living their best life.
It's not a bad
and it's consistent. Every month, this is what I'm getting. I don't have to post a video. I don't have to worry about saying the wrong thing and somebody come and try to counsel me. I don't have to. No, and that's another thing. People, that's why I say a lot of people have their favorites on TikTok or social media. But the thing is, when you are that person that doesn't say controversial things, and you stay in your lane or whatever, and people can't poke holes in what you say and what you do to mess up your money, and you come up, people feel like they had a piece of that. Oh yeah, we made her famous, we made him famous. Like we had a piece of his come up. But like I get on there and I'm like, I don't need fucking TikTok. This shit can go away today, and I'm gonna keep going back to doing what I was doing. They don't like that. Now they gotta humble me. You know what I'm saying? Now they gotta try to,
because they feel like everybody on TikTok is a content creator, and this is what your life is. This is your main income, and for some people, it might be.
And there's nothing wrong with that. nothing wrong with it at all. But when you make that vocal and you're open about that, now people don't like it because they're like, "Oh, what you mean? You know, I'll say, I guess I have the freedom to say what the fuck I want to say because I'm not worried about getting canceled. I'm not worrying about TikTok money going away. So, and they don't like that. A lot of people out there just don't like that, and it's an uncomfortable truth that. That's why I say all the time, like there's a lot of losers out there, a lot of people who are just losers, and that sounds mean, but it's like it go back to why people like to mess on TikTok or social media because they don't have nothing going on in real life. When I hit send download and I get off the TikTok, that's it, bro. That's it. I go to my kids. I got a wife, kids. I got friends. I
You know,
have a
you
life.
sound old as shit just now when you said the TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, old people put done in front of the Googles, the TikTok, the YouTube. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, man, the TikTok.
Some people they see certain things in videos and they boil that down to TikTok money got that, but
Yeah.
they don't realize how expensive life is. These little sometimes 1,500, 2,000 that someone who's making money on TikTok, um, that ain't paying nobody's mortgage.
And that's why I do
That
post.
ain't paying for your car notes.
Right.
That ain't paying this, that, and the third.
No.
But they would assume that, and I get it. I mean, I get it now why you do these videos, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, fuck what you think. Okay, if that's what you think.
I just
But
like to be
something inside, you know, sometimes people got to be a little petty about it. Let me show y'all a little something. I get
get
it.
petty
I
every
get
now
it.
and then with it, man, because motherfuckers really be trying you. And you be like,
They do. And these are people who
they ain't got shit, honestly.
they don't. And they
be having
probably
shit.
want to live the life you live or drive the car you
And
drive.
and the crazy thing about it, bro, like, that's why I don't understand. Well, I mean, I understand, but that's why it's wild that I do catch the flack I do because, dog, like, I tell people, I'm out here really trying to help folks for the free ski too. Like, anybody can come. I let people
No,
come to
you
my
ain't trying to sell
live.
no programs.
Bro, I'm not selling. And I could really. Social media it's such a finesse. I could go either way. I could pander to the fellas, make red pill shit, cause it ain't hard, or I could go to the lady side, and I'm light skinned with long hair, and like I laugh all the time. I mess with my wife. I'm like, I got the perfect setup. I married a single mother. I take care of they kids like my own. I'm they pops. You know what I'm saying? Like I did everything that the ladies say they like in a man. Pay bills, do all that, make all the money. I do all that. I could easily go and sell some shit to the women and be, what's his name? Ace Metaphor, Derek Jackson. I could easily do that. It ain't hard.
And they still going.
Yeah,
Derek was
strong.
supposed to be canceled a long time ago. He's still going. They still listening to
Ace
him.
Metaphor still ain't gave Kidda her money. And he was just on Cam Newton podcast.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a clip of that. And I seen that whole that beef going back and forth. There was a phone call. I think she was, I don't know. I think it was either $200,000 or a little bit more than that.
Whatever he had, pay that girl her money. Pay that girl her money, man. But that people, when they have their favorites and you telling people what they want to hear, they don't care about your characters, your character, your morals, your principle, what you stand for. And that's why I try to be as transparent as I can because I take pride in who I am as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like what I stand for. I try to have character behind this shit. Because if it was really about a check, if I was really chasing a bag off this shit, bro, it's not hard. I don't sell no course. I don't charge. I'm not telling people bang my cash app when you come over my live. My lives. The crazy thing is people try to play me on like my I guess because I might not have the followers of some of their favorite content creators, but my lives I'm averaging like 250 people in a live, and people they'll stay in my. When I finally looked at my analytics, the average stay time for my live is between like 8 to 10 minutes. That's a long time for somebody to come and sit in your live.
People attention span, especially with TikTok, is very short. So
Yeah.
if you could hold that longer than some people can't get through 5 seconds of a video before they swipe.
The last live I had when we was talking about the Ryan Hinton stuff, it was I had 820 people in that live. and my average was like it didn't get no lower than 300 something people. So I mean,
Some people with millions of followers sometimes be
yeah,
doing their
and
shit.
can't get that.
They like 200 people, 100 people on the live.
So whether they admit it or not, motherfuckers is pulling up to see what I say. Whether they agree with me or just like people are paying attention to what and I'll go through and I'll see people that follow me, but then come in and start shit. I'm like, why are you? So you just following the hate? You know, you just following the be in the mess or staying. So I don't know, it's weird, but
I gotta ask you this. Hold on.
yeah.
So this was maybe over a month ago. I did a video. I did a stitch to it, and I'm sure you've seen the original video of this before. Maybe you haven't because I'm sure this guy popped up for you.
Yeah.
But it was the No Fugazi podcast. And he was saying something something like
single mothers are for
no,
recreational.
not that one. Not
he
that
said
one.
something else.
He said something else.
Oh shit.
This one, he's the leader in his household, so his woman is not allowed to know where he is, but he's allowed to know where she is all of the time because he is the leader, he is the protector, he is the provider. So she has you ain't seen this video?
I seen your stitch of it, but I didn't pay attention to that motherfucker. Once I figured out, I don't even pay attention to him.
Would you consider yourself the leader in your household?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. But my wife got my location.
Right, but you being the leader, does that place your wife below you as far as a couple, or you guys still?
Honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and act like we.
I get what the term leader sounds like, but you know, are you guys still on the same playing field? Even though you are, you know, the leader, you are the protector, provider.
Right. Whenever things go bad, it's on me. But you know, I mean, for me and my old lady, we together in this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and it runs so smooth now to where, you know, we ain't sitting there arguing about who gonna listen to who and nothing like that. It's, but again, that's how you know people ain't in real relationships, real partnerships, real. You know what I'm saying? Because when you in this shit, you understand, bro. Like ain't nobody got time to bicker. Like it's automatic that I'm the man. So when things go bad, like obviously I have to shoulder that and figure out how do I get us out of this or whatever it is, you know. But as the leader, I'm also not like I'm the head honcho. I don't listen, you know, like I don't got to pay attention to nobody else because I have final say. Like she gives me that, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like I make her. She just gives me that respect or give me that acknowledgement because I guess I've shown myself, I've proven myself to be a leader, an effective leader for this family. You know what I'm saying? In the family unit, I haven't done anything to show her otherwise. So, I mean, I'm not sitting here. I mean, I just feel like if you a leader, you're not worried about that type of shit. You're not because you don't have to demand respect from nobody. You gain it. It's automatic. Like people are gonna, and I guess that comes from the military for me. And that's kind of why I during my time I caught a lot of flack because they'd be like, oh, you know, Sergeant Parrish, Sergeant P just cool with all the junior Marines, like he just, buddy with them. I'm like, you just mad because they don't come talk to you, like they don't fuck with you because you always like they can't relate to you. Not saying I was buddy, like, but I knew how to get to their level and still command respect from them. It's you and that's what a leader does. Like it go back to what I said earlier, learning how to shut up. Checking your ego. There are times where all they might have need was just me to listen to them. They didn't need me to get on them or give them a solution or just listen. And that's half the battle. And so and when they rock with you and they see you are a respectable person, you got good character, good principle, good morals, you gain the respect of people. I ain't gotta walk around and command that from nobody, whether it's my kids, my wife, strangers. I had to puff my chest out and say, "You respect me because I'm a man." Like that's cornball shit, man.
Speaking of Puff, Puff is going through some shit.
Look, man.
I thought the other day, I'm like, damn, what would Big say if he was here right now? Did Big know he like spreading man juice, getting
Look,
man juice spread all
that
over his nipples?
yeah, he's serious about that baby oil too, man. What he said, he told her fill up a
Fill
pool
up
of
a
baby.
pool with the
I want
baby.
y'all glistening. I said, what?
Yeah, these red pillars, right?
Yeah.
You know the top red pillars. You feel like that's just a bad grab, or these guys are really like that in real life?
It's like,
The fresh and fix, the
first of
coolies,
all, everybody think like the women come and try to put me in that category, and I'm like,
yeah, but
no.
I don't. I may have picked up asshole from you
Yeah,
in the beginning,
I'd be an
but
asshole.
never red pill,
I can admit that. I can be
never
an
red pill.
asshole. But red pill, no. No. But definitely it's definitely a money grab. And a lot of those dudes be lames. They be cornballs. That's why they connect and grab the other lames and cornballs gravitate towards them and can't pick up that these like Cooley. Single mothers are recreational use only. But you with one. Now you ain't married to her, but you with one. And you playing stepdaddy to white kids. That ain't yours. You know, now I'm saying, hey, if that's what you're gonna do, do it. But you can't be loud as he is about what's going on out there. Like you can't be out here telling other dudes do this and do that, and you literally married to you're with, you're not married. She wants you to marry her, but you won't. So why don't but guys won't look at that. The same way that they talk about the women not catching on to the pander guys or whatever, they don't catch on to these red pill dudes doing it. They're telling you what you want to hear the same way they tell the guys or the women tell the women what they want to hear. They feeding you all this bullshit about marriage doesn't benefit men, she gonna take half, and and y'all aren't even getting in relationships.
You know what's funny? I feel like the mass majority of people who follow these red pillars are men.
Yeah.
Are men. Maybe some women, yes. But their delivery is giving me I'm doing this to impress other guys because
For
I
sure.
can't see any like women like, your wife or my wife supporting shit like that.
No.
When shit like that comes on, my wife sees it, like take that bullshit
Click.
off. Take that
Like
bullshit
even
off.
fresh and fit. You talking about it like that, and you can even tell on their panels. They bringing on OF girls, just bottom of the barrel type women, so they can have a leg up on them and make them look bad and stuff.
They're usually the smartest guys in the
Yeah,
room.
they not bringing on no women worth the damn. You know what I'm saying? Educated women or anything like that. They bringing on.
Candace Owens, just to
They
throw
would
a name.
they would never go up against her.
Even though I don't
Right,
necessarily
but
agree
she's
with
smart.
something. She's very smart.
She is very intelligent. That's how I know she chasing that bag.
But they couldn't do that to a
Mm-mm.
Candace
No,
Owens.
no, not at all. But it's definitely a money grab on their end.
I feel like they may be nice guys, man. Like off the camera.
I don't think.
Maybe I don't know.
I think they just lames, and they found their lane.
That could be possible too. But sometimes people just perform for the camera.
That too. But cause even fresh and fit, right? They're sitting there. Girls are, they doing OF and da 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 da. And then one of them got caught up. The dark skinned one get caught up tricking on a Chinese one,
Yeah.
paying stuff on mama. Oh, then I'm like. I think Myron got exposed a couple of times for some IG baddie girls. He all in their DMs.
But there's
and shit.
you got to understand these red pillars. There's always some kind of exposure that comes out later.
Oh yeah, that's what happened when you don't live a life of integrity.
Always. Now, I catch a lot of. I catch quite a few strays because a few of the not all, but a few of the young ladies who I've had on, yeah, they so happen to have OF accounts, but these women, these aren't the same women that are going on the Fresh and Fit podcast.
Yeah.
These aren't the women that are spewing, oh, you got to make X amount of money or I can't deal with you. I just seen another young lady on, I think the podcast is some white dudes. It's called something like that. I'm pretty sure you saw them. But she was like, she can't date a dude unless he was a millionaire. And you can tell there was nothing inside her head. You could tell.
Yeah, them airheads.
And it has nothing to do with her doing OF because I can't just bring any ditzy person up here.
Right,
Like
some bimbos.
right, these are not the.
Yeah.
But once you have that link in your bio, men will automatically label you as that.
Right.
Less than dumb.
But you know the difference of the ones that's coming on their
There's
podcast.
definitely a difference.
Yeah.
There's definitely a difference. These women, they have no integrity. These women, they know what these shows are about. You don't go on a show, you wouldn't come here not knowing the kind of shit that I talk about.
Right.
So you knowing that this is the delivery that's going to happen, knowing they're going to trash y'all, they're going to degrade y'all, you still choose to go.
Yeah,
what does that say about you?
Cutting that check. Because I think
that's even worse. So somebody could pay you to degrade you.
Yeah, I mean, shit, that's how you got Zeus Network.
Yeah.
And those are the type of chicks that they bring on to their platform to make it seem like, oh, these are the average girl. What, like, I can look at them and tell, like, that's not even a type of chick I would even look at. They don't give the time of day to.
It sounds bad, but even before they speak, I could tell what it would be.
You already peep the vibes and what they got going on. They not, but that's what they want, because they got to sell this to the guys that eat this type of shit up, that don't go outside. You got a lot of guys, like I said, that don't like. The girls do it too, but I always talk to the fellas, like, you got a lot of guys who really they don't interact with women. They don't know how to have conversation with women, and their perception of women as a whole is literally through social media, through a screen. So that's how you get the guys like, oh, black women don't like nerdy guys, or guys that play video games and watch anime. Like, yes, they are. You even in this? First of all, are you even in the spaces where these women are? Because anime and nerd culture, back when I was actually getting bullied for this shit, that is not 2025.
Last year when I went to Comic-Con, it made me realize how much.
Bro, it's worse than the strip club. Them women, and that's like, do you even go in the environments where you're going to find those type of women? Number one, you don't. Number two, look at yourself. If you look in the mirror and you wouldn't talk to the female version of yourself, that answers your question. And when I ask dudes that question, they get quiet. Like, and I'm not even just talking about looks, personality, character, everything. If a woman built like you, acted like you, all that, walked up to you and tried to talk to you, would you give her the time of day? You probably wouldn't. So why would a woman give you the time of day? Oh, but you listen to Red Pill and they tell you, well, get your money up. Oh, and they tell you buy a fancy car, and like, will that get women to approach you or whatever? Sure, but it's not the type of woman you want. It's not the type of attention you want. And then you turn around, and if you do get it, then you complain about women only wanting you for your money, or women only want you for materialistic things. And there's no good women, and there are, like, so y'all create the very problem that y'all complain about.
In this day and age, what do you think is considered broke now? Because now I'm seeing,
are we like TikTok, like social media expectations, or like reality?
Because broke seems different every time I turn on social media.
I mean, shit, I done had people tell me I'm broke. I don't fucking know. Like, if we talking about social media expectations, shit, if you ain't a millionaire, you broke to them. If you got a 9 to 5, you got to clock in on social media, you broke. I don't fucking know. But if we talking reality, like statistics of labor statistics or something, I mean, shit. I don't know what they said. Middle class ish now is what, like 75,000.
Is that middle class?
I think there might be some.
I don't even know what the level qualifiers are.
Yeah,
what is it? It's lower class, middle class. Is it upper middle class?
Yeah.
Or it's just, what's after that?
Upper middle class, and then I guess just upper class shit. I mean, and that's it. When I make my little videos, hell, I break into, because like when you sit, like, everybody think they in a situation or a position, then they're really not, and that's kind of that. And again, that's probably why I come off like I'm bragging or something. And I'm like, no, it's to give perspective, but I also give solutions and how other people can even get to this, because it's achievable, it's obtainable. Number one, get you a wife. Get you a one. And
Number one.
that's another topic, red pill. What the red pill guys tell you?
Number one.
It doesn't matter what a woman does. You don't education. Your degree doesn't matter to a man. Your career doesn't. Yes, it do. It should. It should. Because and then so you a man that gets so take Cam Newton for example. Cam Newton, all his baby mamas are like these or athletes period who get like Instagram baddies or whatever. Women who need them. They're not if they were to get with equitable women. So a lawyer, a doctor, a finance manager, if they were to get with equitable women that had careers and had something to offer, you probably wouldn't get them baby mamas that's gonna take half of your shit. Because and or like Cam Newton, for example, the last baby mama, I think she a comedian. Like everything, she built her fame, built her name off him. Cause she needed him. If you had a career, like even Chad and Ocho Cinco and his, I think are they still fiance? I don't know what him and the old girl that sell houses.
Chad's the penny pincher.
But she didn't need to take half from him or nothing. You ain't heard nothing about no child support, nothing crazy.
You talking about Evelyn? I think it was Evelyn.
Is that her name? No. Not Evelyn, the one that hit him upside the head or something.
But she was with him.
Yeah, she was. Dang, what's her? I can't think of her name right now. I got her face in there. But either way, you ain't hearing them about no baby mama drama, child support, because she has a career. She don't need his money. So I'm like, as a man, you need to work. If you had a woman who had a career or had an education, like, and she just like don't need you for everything, you might be all right. You'd be a little bit, but then red pill tell you, oh, get your money and then go. It doesn't matter. You can talk to the girl at McDonald's, as long as she look good. I mean, you can, but the girl from McDonald's is gonna clean you out.
So I gotta ask you this before we run out of time, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of athletes, when we see these athletes, right? We see the athletes, the rappers, they make the money, and then they go. And I'm asking this because I see you speak about black love.
Yeah.
They make the money, but most of the time these athletes, it's not black love. It's not even minority love. It's just, you know.
Nobody is.
Why do you think that is, in your opinion? Before you even say that, I think it was it Paul? Is it Paul Pierce that it was a clip going around. I think it was Paul Pierce
yeah.
saying that he deals with white women because they're easier or more understanding or something bullshit. Like that. I don't know.
That's bullshit.
But I feel like, you know, like I was asking you, like with these people who have these high paying careers, you don't see a lot of minority love. You just, I don't know what it is.
I'll say that I think that, especially with the athletes, I think that people they overexpose the snow bunny chasers because there's a lot of athletes who are with black women. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he just
true.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of black not Travis Hunter, the other
Travis Hunter's dude who's always in problems with his girl.
What's Jaden Daniels? He he talked to black women. So I mean, it's a lot of athletes that are with black women, even entertainers and stuff. But of course, we're gonna hyperfixate on what we do see. But the ones we do see, I'll say that my honest personal thoughts on it is they think that that's the epitome of success. Like, I got to get a white girl because I got to get closer to success or closer in the proximity of whiteness. And a lot of people think I'm anti-interracial dating. It's not that. I don't like when, and this goes to the passport bros who I catch flack from, to whatever, the guys that chase no bunny. Are the
passport bros different from the red pillars, or they the same?
Shit, you can really throw all of them together. Honestly, they intersect. But like if you like to the black women who date white men and the black men who date white women, my issue comes when they can't, like, a lot of them can't just, like, if it was so great and so you were so happy and fulfilled over there, why you got to come back and tell the whole world? Like, why you got to come back and say, well, I date, white men, or I date white girls because black women are this and black men are that. Like, what? Like, it's everything. And then you get the ones like Cooley, where they're making like this weird like interracial couple content, and it's like
Right, I saw that
taking my
video.
black husband to my white. It's just like they always. It's like a big fetish, and it's just cringy, it's corny, and it's really lame. And it's like, now if you like, shout out to John. John Cannon is one of the creators. Now everybody know that's the first thing they say. Oh, you with a white woman, but I've never heard John say anything.
Is he?
Yeah, yeah. But I've never heard him say, he's not the guy that's like, oh, well, I married a white woman because she's better, black women, they're this and that. He never said that. And a lot of guys who say that, most of them don't never even been with a white woman. I mean, a lot of them ain't been with a white woman. They speaking in hypothetical because they want one. And a lot of them never even been with a black woman. Because if you've been with women, you know women are women. Whether they Hispanic,
Mm-hmm.
white, black, Asian, women are women. Period. And for them, my wife always does this thing. She's like, man, white women have pulled the fleece over everybody, thinking that they are just the most quiet, submissive, meek, timid. She was like, man,
Women on women.
right? They are women
Um,
are women.
that loudness comes in every shade, man.
Black women might be a little loud. You might get a little mouth, but at least she gonna tell you the truth. And that white woman, she gonna put some goddamn bleach in your coffee and then collect that life insurance policy off you. You know what I'm saying? But eh, I don't know, man. If you deal with women, you understand women are women. If not, I said my only issue is when people get on there and they act like black women are this and black men are that. This is why I date this and this is why I date that. And it's like, if you put the effort or the energy that you did, because I'll say this last with the what I think is when they do date out, they're out of their comfort zone. And I feel like there's this thing in the back of your head, especially if you never really dated out, especially with white people as a black person, is I don't want to. I think subconsciously it's like, or consciously they think like I don't want to look bad in front of white folk. I don't want, if this doesn't work out, I don't want to be the reason when they go out and they're like, what happened to the black guy or the black girl you were talking to? Oh, they don't want to. They don't want to be the stereotype for that white person when people ask them questions. So they're on their best behavior, versus when they're with a black person, you giving them your ass to kiss. I'm like, if you put the energy and the effort that you gave Tom or Rebecca to Jamal and Tanisha, you might get better results. But when you date out, you're uncomfortable. So you're paying more attention to the things that matter in a relationship. So character, morals, who they are versus their physical. Whereas when you were dating black men or black women, all you cared about was physical because you was comfortable. You wasn't out of your comfort zone. So I don't know. That's
I
my
could get
thoughts on
that.
that. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So
So me meeting you now, I could say, to me, I think you a solid guy, right?
I try to be.
Um, and it's hard to pick that up through the internet when you don't. Even, talking to you before this and, after the camera goes off,
Yeah.
what would you want people to know about you that they don't know, that maybe they may see you in the wrong light because of things you may say?
Yeah. I guess number one is that, like,
Fuck your opinion. I don't care what y'all think.
I ain't gonna say that because I'd be lying if I said I don't sometimes. Um, I care. You know what I'm saying? Especially about, like, I care for black people. And accountability is not, you know, hatred of our people. Like, we can have in-house discussions and converse about the issues that we have and hold one another accountable and talk about what's going wrong, what's going right, how can we fix, and come up with plausible solutions without throwing labels. You a misogynist, or you a red pill, or like, get out your feelings and hear what we saying. Because the minute you get out your feelings, the minute we can progress. The minute you can fix your personal life, the minute you might could be able to get some help and move forward and get some positivity going on versus just hating and talking shit online all day, you know? Um, Shit, I don't know, man. I mean, because at the end of the day, I could get on here and write out a 10-page letter on, these things and what I would like for people to get out of it or know about me. But like I said earlier, man, people got their favorites. People have their opinions and thoughts, and especially today, where if I get uncomfortable with what I hear, I could just go to an echo chamber and feel good. That there's just people that you can't change, and that's just what it is. So um, I just keep doing what I do, keep speaking the way I speak, and hopefully get on more platforms to where I could do, sit down and do things like this. Um, and maybe their minds will change eventually. I don't know, but I did get a lot. I did get an influx of women when that whole shoe conversation you pulled up. I got some women that came along and was like, well, I was in the live and I did, I thought you was this, but I was like, okay, as long as you're willing to listen, and that's who I care about. The people who trying to hear, people who want to listen.
For sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, my guy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the opportunity, man.